Hey you guys, today I'm going to be talking about the important things that I learned in high school. We have all kinds of movies like Mean Girls and High School Musical that give you an idea of situations and things that have happened in high school to people. I will agree with Mean Girls, the idea about having cliques, even though it's a comedy and it's satirized and kind of blown out of proportion. And I agree with High School Musical, where people have like a status quo that they have to meet. Like if you're an athlete, you can't be in drama either. So I agree with some of the things, but 99.9% of the chances of somebody breaking out into a song and dance number in high school is pretty low. I'm sorry if I burst anybody's bubble. But yeah, this week I'm doing the video early because I will be at Florida A&M University for my freshman orientation. So this is like the perfect timing for this video. So let's go ahead and get started. A big deal for me that I learned about the middle of my sophomore year is to just be yourself. There are people who are not going to like you for predetermined reasons. Like they might be jealous of you, or they just don't like you because who you hang out with, things like that. And then there's people who are going to like you because for whatever reason they might think that you're rich, or they just have like a stereotype, or just think something about you. But the goal for yourself is whether or not you actually care. If you care about trying to please people who don't like you, you're going to have a bad time. I mean, you have to work so hard and not be yourself and do things to get people who don't like you to like you. And it's already bad enough that, you're in high school, you have studying, you have homework, you have projects and things like that, and you're adding on work for yourself to try to please people and make people who don't like you when you don't even have to do that. It's pretty much about accepting yourself and being happy with yourself. If you are yourself, people are going to like you for who you are, and you'll have friends who have like interests and enjoy being around you because you're you. And then you'll have the handful of people that don't like you because of you. But at least you can honestly say that you're being yourself. I can count on my hand about how many true friends I have, or how many like real friends I can go and talk to about things, because that's just how it is. It's not about the big idea of trying to have who can have the most friends and being popular. If that's your goal, you're gonna have a bad time. Like I said, you're gonna have a hard time trying to please everybody. Another thing that goes along with being yourself is kind of being your own person, and like some people say, do you, like doing you, like being yourself. Has to do with your opinions about things and about people. Sometimes your friends can come to you and say, oh yeah, that person does this, or don't be friends with them because they do this or they do that. But that decision should be made up to you. You should have the, ability to want to meet somebody and have your own opinion about them, not going off what other people say about somebody. And I learned that kind of the hard way. My junior year, I had an incident happen that I regret, but it was a learning experience, listening to people tell me about somebody and then me believing them. Not saying not to believe your friends, but kind of have your own mind and be friends with somebody because you want to. If you really want to know for yourself, you'll get to know them. Same thing with people looking at you. You wouldn't want somebody going ahead and telling everybody before they get a chance to meet you, oh yeah, she's really mean, she talks about people, stuff like that. You wouldn't want that to happen to you. High school really is just a learning experience, but along with being yourself, that's just a really key thing that I learned. And I'm still learning to this day to just meet people for yourself and just have your own mind about things, if you get what I'm saying. Another thing that I learned in high school that I didn't really have to learn in high school, I kind of went through in middle school, and should go without saying, but for some people you have to drive it home, like tell them over and over, is to have good behavior. Know what you're thinking, have good behavior. That's pretty basic, but yeah, it really does get you a long way. My friends I graduated with, or if you have already graduated from high school, just think about this. You did mature some kind of way. You made some kind of metamorphosis from your freshman year to your senior year, if I'm right. Yeah, because I know I did, about behavior-wise. If you got into high school and say you had bad behavior, and then say your junior year and senior year, you make some kind of turnaround your junior and senior year, and you apply for honors program scholarships, and you need teacher recommendations, and you just want to get into some things, that are offered to you that you might be eligible for. You have the right GPA, everything, but they look in your file and you have referrals and detentions and things of that nature from your freshman year, and you haven't acted up in years. We have a whole bunch of referrals from talking out in class, having dress code violations, getting into fights, and you have turned around and you're not that person anymore. They're going to look and put that stuff into consideration, because some things you can't have a certain amount of referrals or a certain amount of detentions, man, that you mature and turn to somebody else because of bad behavior problems. So it just really pays off in the long run to have good behavior and good grades. Making 1.9 GPAs, like, I mean, if that's the best that you can do, I'm not trying to down like people who make low GPAs, but I'm just saying, like, you're not trying the best that you can do. And then your junior and senior, you really step it up and you make 3.5 GPAs, 3.7 high GPAs. Well, at the end of your senior year, they average your GPA, and as well, they look into behavior for if you want to go into scholarship programs, if you want teacher recommend. By the time it averages together, you barely miss the mark for like a scholarship or honors program. It really makes you feel bad and make you regret and say, I wish I would have just behaved better. But you really, don't have to go down that road, you know what I mean? If you make the decision, conscious decision, that I'm going to behave, I'm going to do the best that I can do on my grades, and do the best behavior that I can do from the start, coming into high school. The last most important thing that I can ever tell anybody about high school, but this goes beyond high school. This goes into later on when you go into your career, you go off to college, everything, is to not talk about people. And this is one of those things where you should do it because you know it's the right thing to do. Not because, I'm not going to talk about people because I don't want somebody to find out I said something, that I was gossiping about them, and they start talking about me, and then they want to fight me. No. I feel like over 90% of the drama and things that happen in high school can all stem back to talking about people, and could be resolved if people just kept their opinions and things that are rude to themselves. And I live by a saying, I guess you can call it that, by don't say something that you're not willing to say to somebody's face. Like me, I'm not going to say anything about somebody that I wouldn't say to them. That doesn't mean that I'll talk behind somebody's back and say, oh, so-and-so is ugly, and then I'll say, oh, I'll tell them to their face that they're ugly. No. The point I'm trying to make is, don't say anything about somebody that you wouldn't want to say to their face that you know would hurt somebody's feelings. It's just the right thing to do. Wait, people are going to talk about you if you're doing something good, if you're doing something bad. And this goes beyond high school. This goes into the workplace, that some people just have not learned that it's not right to talk about people. So that's like a big deal for me. Big, big deal in high school. Just not to talk about people and keep opinions to yourself that aren't necessarily positive, that could end up having something negative happen down the road. Everything that I mentioned in this video applies to myself. I'm still learning to this day. I practice, or I'm working on practicing it every day. You never really get out of high school, if you know what I mean. You're always going to new levels in your life. Like I said, this is perfect timing because I'm going to my freshman orientation, and I began my freshman year in college, so all of this is going to be starting over again. So it would be reiterated. But thanks you guys for watching. I'll put my Instagram, Twitter links in the bio, in the description, and you can follow me on those if you have any ideas, comments, questions, anything that you have to discuss with me that you learned in high school or that you're expecting or have any questions about. But like I said, thanks for watching, you guys. Wish me luck on my freshman orientation, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.